Ha! You're still not married at your age? Sad for an older lady like you. Wow, still not married at your age? That's sad for someone like you. I met my ex-husband at a fancy Chinese restaurant. Even though he kept making mean jokes, we talked. Then my sister, who ran away to marry someone else, showed up. When my ex said he was going to marry her soon, I laughed at him. Didn't I mention? Feeling really good. My ex was surprised when I told him something surprising. I'm Michelle Smith. I'm 39 and married to Mike, who works in transportation. We met at work where I used to work in an office. I liked Mike's happy personality and I asked him out first. I liked how easygoing and strong he seemed. It was love at first sight. When I told him how I felt, he felt the same, and we got married in 6 months. He seemed nice while we were dating, but after we got married, he changed. He started saying mean things and treating me badly. I didn't expect married life to be so hard. Every day was sad, and I started to be afraid. Mike drives trucks, but he does local deliveries. I wish he was a long-distance driver so he would be away more, giving me some space. I'm really happy that Michelle married into our family. Mike hardly ever brought girlfriends home, so I was worried he'd never get married. This happened at a big family gathering during Thanksgiving at my in-laws' house. They are really nice people who care about me a lot. When we got married, they were so excited, like they had gained a daughter. I got along well with my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law was also very nice to me. One of the few good things about my tough married life was going out to eat with my in-laws. But then, in front of them, Mike started making fun of me. It happened during a family reunion. Must be nice, huh? Having a beauty like Michelle. Look at my wife. See that flabby belly of hers? A guy in the family started teasing his wife, and everyone laughed. Then my husband started making fun of me. What are you talking about, Uncle? Michelle looks so childish, hardly like a grown-up woman. Your wife looks way more graceful and grown-up. I was so surprised and hurt by what he said. The guy said, "Come on, stop it." But everyone thought it was funny. The only ones who looked worried were my in-laws. Michelle, go help my wife in the kitchen. My father-in-law saw I was upset and told me to go there to escape. I was grateful and went to the kitchen with my mother-in-law. I couldn't stop crying because of what happened. But my mother-in-law comforted me like she was my own mom. And my father-in-law told everyone off and made them apologize to me. They all said sorry, except for my husband, who was too drunk to care. Why should a husband have to say sorry to his wife? That's why Dad always gets made fun of by Mom. Can't you have some self-respect? And because of that, my husband and his dad started arguing. The family gathering ended early that day, and after that, my husband and his dad didn't get along anymore. I didn't go to my husband's family home much after that. Life after that was really hard. I lost the only thing that made me happy and started feeling weaker and more lost every day. Even simple tasks felt really hard, and whenever my husband remembered that day, he'd yell at me. You must have said something stupid to them. Because of you, I was embarrassed in front of everyone. What are you going to do about it? I was scared of his anger, so I was always on edge. We lived on the 10th floor of an apartment building, and sometimes I thought about jumping to escape my sadness. When you're really tired mentally, it's hard to make good decisions, and that's how I felt. It was then, during one of these sad moments, that my sister came to visit. You haven't talked to me lately, Michelle. You look really tired. My older sister, Catherine, who's 3 years older, used to work nights in her old job. She was really popular, probably because she looked younger than her age. It was unusual for her to visit without telling me first. Did something happen with your husband? My sister and I were really close when we were kids. When I got married, nobody was happier than her. She cried tears of joy and celebrated with me a lot. I just want everything to go away. Boo-goo, what's wrong? When Catherine saw how upset I was, tears started coming to my eyes as I told her about the tough situation with my husband. Every day, it felt like he was hurting me emotionally. It felt like being trapped in a prison, with lots of pain and sadness. Sometimes I thought about ending everything because it was all too much. Kath, when she heard all this, got really mad and said she was going to go yell at my husband right then and there. But I got even more scared just thinking about what might happen to me if she did. With tears on my face, I begged her not to talk to him. When she saw how scared I was, Catherine calmed down and started thinking of a plan. After a while, she seemed to get an idea. She looked really excited and whispered her plan to me. When I heard it, I was really surprised and asked if she was serious. "Do you really think that'll work?" "Who do you think I am?" Catherine said confidently. I trusted Catherine to make it work. But I was really worried about what might happen if her plan was found out. "Don't you want to get away from this and be free?" Seeing that I couldn't decide. Even then, Mike said some really unbelievable things to me. "You just want money, right? Do you want the house? I'll give you whatever you want. Just let's end this." Mike made it clear in front of everyone that he didn't love me anymore. He seemed really eager to end our marriage, even if it meant paying a lot of money. The lawyer, feeling awkward, showed me how much money people usually get in these cases. "You don't really care about me, do you? I can tell where your heart is. You're thinking about someone else and who you want to be with." I felt defeated and agreed to the divorce terms. "Okay, but I want half of our stuff." He probably thinks he can just earn it back. Mike was happy and clueless about how things were going. But secretly, I smiled mysteriously, knowing the divorce was happening without him realizing. But even though I accepted it, Mike's parents were really against it. When we told them, they yelled at Mike and defended me. "What are you thinking? Michelle has been so good to us, and you're talking about divorcing her and being with someone else. You can't be serious." His mom, Tay, tried to talk sense into Mike, while his dad was really mad and scolded him. But Mike didn't seem to care about what they said. "It doesn't matter if you're okay with it or not." She already agreed. "You pushed her into this with your lawyers." They really didn't want us to divorce. They've always treated me like their own child, and the thought of us splitting up was really painful for them. I could feel how much they wanted us to stay together, and I felt bad for letting them down. I love them too. I would have loved to stay as their daughter if things hadn't turned out like this with Mike. I was filled with regret and couldn't stop crying. "People like you are so annoying. I'm done with her. I'm going to marry someone I really care about and be happy. Stop bothering me." Mike got really mad at his parents and started yelling back at them. They couldn't accept his decision, so they disowned him right there. Mike left his parents' house, apparently running away with his new girlfriend, and our divorce was finalized. 6 months later, I was having dinner at a fancy Chinese restaurant with my parents. "Isn't that Michelle?" The person who called out to me was Mike. I had gone outside to make a call and ran into him in the hallway. "Long time no see." "Didn't think you were still here," he said in a rude way. I must have looked disgusted. "What's with that look? If you have something to say, say it." He wasn't shouting because we were in public, but he still looked down at me with cold eyes. I tried to hold back my anger and turned away, acting all tough when you can't even stand up for yourself. "Did you find a new boyfriend after we split?" Mike made fun of me, sneering. "I only saw this side of him after we got married, and I wish I had seen it sooner. It's none of your business anymore." Without even checking if I was dating someone, Mike kept teasing me with his sly grin. "Still single?" Pretty sad for an old lady. Mike looked at me like he had won at life even more after we split. I was about to say something when, "Oh, Michelle, Mike didn't expect to see you here." My sister Catherine walked in, talking to both of us. "Catherine, good timing. I was just going to tell Michelle something." Mike looked really pleased with himself as he put his arm around Catherine. I just stood there, not letting his actions bother me, watching calmly. "I wanted to tell her first that we're getting married," he said proudly, pulling Catherine even closer. I'd always thought he liked Catherine more than me, and now seeing them together with no feelings, Mike still didn't understand what was happening. He grinned smugly at me. "Sorry, I guess. I mean, I'll be living happily with her. But hey, you're not bad looking. Maybe if you try harder." "I'm sorry, Mike. I can't marry you," Catherine said gently, moving away from him. His face showed surprise, not understanding what she meant. I never liked you. Wait, what? What do you mean? Didn't she tell you? I couldn't help myself, teasing him as he looked confused. What do you mean, didn't tell me everything? Mike was caught off guard by Catherine and me planning to make sure we got divorced. As I walked over to my sister, we both smiled. Even then, Mike couldn't understand what was happening. His words were all mixed up. Was this all a joke? Thanks to Catherine, I got a lot of money from you in the divorce. I'm really thankful for that. Refusing his first offer for a divorce was part of our plan to get as much of his stuff as we could. It was all Catherine's idea. I wanted to get a divorce but didn't want Mike to get suspicious. So I went along with it. No way, Catherine wouldn't say that. Why not? Mike couldn't believe what I was saying. He kept talking, struggling to understand. I pretended to be confused and asked, why would Catherine say that? She said she's going to marry me. Well, if you took my joke so seriously, I was just doing my job entertaining you, Catherine said, pretending to be worried. She acted all innocent, touching her cheek and sighing. I only pretended to like you. I'm sorry if you got the wrong idea. So you were lying this whole time? For the past 6 months, you acted like you liked me. Mike tried to act tough, but it was kind of funny. Catherine laughed mockingly, pretending to be angry. Mike got really mad and started shouting, even though we were in a store. All those things about wanting to be with me and asking me to divorce Michelle were all lies. Who would want to be with you, an emotionally abusive husband? What did you say? My sister's words made Mike really angry. He started breathing heavily, getting ready to fight. I watched them carefully and quietly got my phone. Pretending to be married to Mike for 6 months was hard. But luckily, he's not very smart. I couldn't stay married to him. Actually, my sister was already married when I was with Mike. She has a husband who works as a bodyguard. To trick Mike, my sister said she was going to get a divorce too. Mike felt good because someone was chasing after him, and he thought he was better than everyone else. He fell right into my sister's trap. So, about waiting to get that divorce, that was obviously a lie. As you can see, my marriage is going well. Then, a man came up with a smile. Nice to meet you. Looks like my wife has been causing some trouble. You must be joking. This is my husband. I invited him here today to meet you, my sister said, happily linking arms with her husband. My ex-husband looked shocked, angry, and sad all at once. It's sad, isn't it? Wasting 6 months only to be kicked out of your own home. It's pitiful. My ex tried to grab me, but my brother-in-law stopped him easily. You know nothing about what I went through this past year trying to make this marriage work. Do you understand? I don't want to. You hurt people and act like you're better than everyone else. Do you know how much you hurt me? I was angry and crying as I finally let out all my frustrations. The way you treated me in front of our family, your attitude towards my family, everything about our marriage, I'll never forgive you. You're going to pay for it. Then I called out, come out, please. My ex's parents, my parents, and even his relatives came out. Now everyone can see how awful you are. I played a recording I got from my sister. It was my ex talking to her in a mean way. Are you really going to leave Michelle? Of course. I don't need someone who only does chores. I want someone mature and attractive like you. Everyone was disgusted by what he said. He tried to make a scene and stop the recording, but my brother-in-law stopped him. He held him back easily, making sure he couldn't do anything. She's so obedient. Just a little threat and she'll do whatever I say. She's more like a servant, someone I can get rid of any time. I don't care about her. His in-laws were angry after hearing how he treated me. Everyone there criticized him. You're a disgrace. How could you say those things about your wife? You're pathetic. I'm ashamed to call you family. Everyone looked at him with disgust. I spoke coldly. Nobody is on your side anymore. Stay away from her family. I never want to see you again. After publicly scolding him, I stopped the recording and asked my brother-in-law to kick him out. He tried to fight back, but it didn't work. He was thrown out forcefully. Then the store was closed, But my husband caused a scene outside, demanding to be let back in. Eventually, the police were called, and he was taken away. My sister and I high-fived each other, happy that we had gotten revenge on my husband. We celebrated by ordering food at the restaurant, and everyone sympathized with what I had been through. It was a good idea to reserve the whole place. Everyone could relax and enjoy themselves. My sister Catherine said. I thanked her for helping me and enjoyed a meal with her for the first time in a while. That's how I got back at my ex-husband. After that, it seemed like he was bothering Catherine, and he got in trouble with the police again. My brother-in-law Mike also gave him a taste of his own medicine. After that, my ex was too scared to show his face around my brother-in-law. 13 years have passed since then, and now I work with Catherine at her store. I still keep in touch with my ex-in-laws and sometimes have dinner with them. I'm grateful to Catherine for helping me. I'll repay her someday. With that in mind, today I'm going to work hard with Catherine. It was just a normal morning during the holiday, with the sun shining bright, hinting at a fun day ahead. I was trying to get my son Aaron ready for his baseball game when everything changed suddenly. As I opened the door, I was stunned to see my husband Mark standing there. The same husband who had disappeared without a trace 3 years ago. This is our home, he stated firmly, but with a hint of uncertainty in his voice. Before I could fully comprehend his return, another person appeared behind him. Clara, my sister-in-law. Seeing her made my stomach twist with unease. We're here to take custody of Aaron, Clara declared, her words dripping with false kindness. I had often wondered about this exact situation, remembering how Mark and Clara had vanished around the same time. It seemed too coincidental to be true. But with the chaos of daily life and limited resources, I hadn't been able to investigate further. Lost in these thoughts, I barely noticed Aaron's voice behind me. Mom, who are you talking to? My heart sank. There he stood, my brave son, unaware of the storm brewing. Clara turned her predatory smile toward him. It's nice to meet you, Aaron. I've been wanting to meet you for a long time. Her words churned my stomach. It was the same voice that had charmed everyone, hiding the manipulative and cruel nature I knew too well, the voice I had hoped to never hear again. Confused, Aaron looked at me and then back at them. Dad, why are you here? And who is she? He edged closer to me, sensing the tension instinctively. Mark and Clara stood there, looking stunned and caught off guard, clearly not prepared for this confrontation. Before they could gather themselves, Aaron spoke up, his voice filled with anger. We're leaving, so move. It was then that Mark and Clara noticed something behind me, and their faces turned pale. I couldn't help but let out a bitter laugh. Standing there was my daughter Elise, cradled in Aaron's arms. Mark's eyes widened in shock, darting between Elise and me. Mark, Clara, I began, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. 3 years ago, you disappeared without a word. I was left to pick up the pieces, raise Aaron, and face an unexpected pregnancy. I paused, letting the weight of my words sink in. Clara's eyes narrowed, but I pressed on. I'm not the same person you abandoned. I fought hard to build a life for my children and me, and I won't let you come back to ruin that. Their faces showed shock, disbelief, and perhaps a hint of guilt. But it was too late for guilt. The wounds they caused were too deep. Please leave, I said firmly. You have no right to be here. Mark started to speak, likely with some excuse or plea, but I didn't want to hear it. I closed the door on them, on the past they represented. Turning back to my children, I saw Aaron looking at me with newfound respect, and Elise oblivious to the turmoil. I took a deep breath, steadying my racing heart. This was just the beginning. The battle lines were drawn, and I was prepared to fight for my family's future. The days that followed Mark and Clara's unwelcome visit were filled with a whirlwind of emotions and memories, threatening to overwhelm me like a tidal wave. I found myself going back to the difficult times after Mark disappeared, the nights when I couldn't sleep for worry, and the hours spent wondering what I could have done differently. Aaron struggled the most. Once a happy and outgoing kid, he became quiet and distant, his sparkle fading. I remembered how he'd push away his dinner, beg to skip school events, and give me cold looks instead of his usual warm smiles. It hurt to see him like that, but I didn't know how to help him. While I dwelled on those memories, Elise's innocent laughter filled the house, a sharp contrast to the turmoil inside me. She was my unexpected joy, a beacon of light during Mark's betrayal. Her birth gave me strength and vulnerability all at once. One night, as I tucked Aaron into bed, he looked at me seriously. "Mom, why did Dad leave us? Did we do something wrong?" His question felt like a punch to the gut. "No, honey, you did nothing wrong. Sometimes grown-ups make choices that don't make sense, and it's not because of you." But why did he come back with Aunt Clara? His confusion broke my heart. I sighed, trying to find the right words. "I don't know why they came back, but I do know that we're a family. You, me, and Elise. We'll face this together." He nodded slowly, his young face full of worries no child should have. "I trust you, Mom. I just wish things were like before." I kissed his forehead, whispering, "I know, my love, I wish that too." The next day, a call from my lawyer, Mr. Thompson, snapped me out of my thoughts. "Lauren, we need to talk about your legal options. Mark and Clara's accusation is unfounded, but we need to prepare a case." I listened intently, my thoughts racing. This was my chance to fight back, to ensure that Mark and Clara couldn't harm us anymore. "Let's go for it," I declared firmly. "I need to safeguard my children, and I won't allow them to be manipulated by whatever game Mark and Clara are playing." Mr. Thompson's voice was reassuring. "You're making the right choice. I'll start getting the paperwork ready. We'll show them that they can't just push you around." As I ended the call, a sense of determination settled over me. Mark and Clara had underestimated me, thinking I'd crumble under their pressure. But they were mistaken. I was stronger now, forged by the challenges I'd faced. I glanced at Elise playing nearby, and knew I'd do whatever it took to protect them. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about justice for my children and myself. Mark and Clara had ignited a fierce protective instinct in me, and I was prepared to fight back with all my might. As weeks passed, my resolve solidified like steel. I braced myself for the legal battle ahead, but nothing could have prepared me for the emotional warfare to come. Mark and Clara, like vultures circling, began their campaign to wear me down. One afternoon, picking up Aaron from school, I found them waiting, casting a shadow over the sunny day. Clara's voice dripped with false sweetness as she greeted Aaron. "Hi, sweetie. We've missed you so much." Aaron clung to my hand, his body tense. "Why are you here?" he whispered. Mark stepped forward, feigning concern. "We just wanted to see you, son. We're family too, you know." Anger surged within me. "You forfeited the right to call yourselves family when you abandoned him," I snapped, pulling Aaron closer. Clara's facade cracked, her eyes narrowing. "Lauren, you can't keep him from us. We have rights." "Rights? You have no rights here," I shot back, my tone icy. "You made your choice 3 years ago. Now you have to live with it." Mark's face contorted with anger. "You think you're so perfect, Lauren. You're just a bitter woman who couldn't keep her husband happy." Aaron's grip on my hand tightened, his body trembling. "Let's go, Aaron," I said, leading him away, but Clara wasn't finished. "You'll regret this, Lauren. We'll get what we want, as we always do." Their threats lingered as we walked away, but I refused to show them any fear. I had to stay strong for Aaron and Elise. That night, their words echoed in my mind as I lay in bed. The thought of losing Aaron to them was unbearable. I couldn't let it happen. I had to be sharper, tougher. The next day, I met with Mr. Thompson, my resolve like armor. "I want full custody of Aaron, and I want Mark and Clara to have no visitation rights," I stated firmly. Mr. Thompson nodded. "It'll be a tough fight, but I'm confident we can win. You're a great mother, Lauren. The court will recognize that." As the legal preparations progressed, I found an unexpected ally at home, Aaron. One evening, he approached me, his young face serious. "Mom, I want to tell the judge I want to stay with you. Dad and Aunt Clara, they're not really my family." Tears filled my eyes as I hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Aaron. That means everything to me. The day of the court hearing arrived like a gathering storm. I walked into the courtroom with Aaron beside me, ready to defend our future. During the proceedings, Clara tried to play the loving aunt, but her words rang hollow. Mark acted like a remorseful father, yet his eyes betrayed his true intentions. When Aaron spoke, his voice steady and resolute, the truth shone through. I want to stay with my mom. She's been there for me when no one else was. The judge's decision was like a ray of hope. Full custody granted to me with no visitation rights for Mark and Clara. Leaving the courtroom, Mark seethed with anger, and Clara's eyes glinted with malice. But their reactions didn't matter. Aaron and I had prevailed together. While the victory in court brought a brief sense of peace, it was short-lived. Mark and Clara, wounded and desperate, became more dangerous. They launched a smear campaign, spreading lies and rumors about me in our community. I never expected the psychological battle that ensued. One evening, Aaron returned from school, his eyes filled with tears he refused to shed. "Mom, kids at school are saying you took me from Dad, that you're mean for keeping me away from him." His words shattered me. "Aaron, you know that's not true. Everything I've done is to keep you and Elise safe." He nodded, but doubt lingered in his eyes. "I know, Mom, but it's tough. They just don't understand." I held him close, feeling his trembling frame. "I know it's hard, sweetheart, but we'll endure. We're stronger than their lies." As days passed, the rumors turned uglier. Clara, always sharp-tongued, now wielded her words like a weapon, seeking to dismantle my world. I knew I had to fight back, yet I hesitated to stoop to their level. Then one day, Mark appeared at my workplace, feigning remorse. "Lauren, can't we talk, for Aaron's sake?" His words dripped with venom, his facade transparent. "There's nothing to discuss, Mark. You made your choice. Now you live with it." He gripped my arm tightly. "You're destroying my life. Lauren, you and that kid." I pulled away, my voice steady. "No, Mark, you did that to yourself." As I walked away, his parting threat sent a chill down my spine. "This isn't over, Lauren. I won't give up so easily." The legal win secured custody of Aaron for me, but it didn't put an end to the conflict. Mark and Clara persisted, and I could see how it affected Aaron. He was caught in a battle he couldn't grasp, torn between his biological father and the mother who had never let him down. One evening, Aaron approached me, his face filled with uncertainty. "Mom, what if Dad changes? What if he wants to be a real dad?" His words struck a chord. "Aaron, I understand he's your father, and it's natural to hope for that. But we must see people for who they are, not who we wish them to be." There was a moment of silence before Aaron looked up at me, his eyes clear. "I understand. I just wish things were different." I embraced him, murmuring, "I wish the same, Aaron. I truly do." Amidst the ongoing battle, my focus remained on Aaron and Elise. They were my pillars, the reason I fought relentlessly. And I'd do anything to shield them, to give them a life free from the shadows cast by Mark and Clara's deceit. Their relentless campaign turned darker, veering into harassment. They seemed omnipresent, at my workplace, near Aaron's school, always lingering, always observing. It became a psychological siege, its weight bearing down on me daily. Yet, I refused to be cowed. It was time to retaliate, to show them they couldn't disrupt our lives without repercussions. I arranged a meeting with Mr. Thompson, my determination unwavering. "Mr. Thompson, it's time for more decisive legal action. I want to pursue a restraining order against Mark and Clara, and I want to sue them for harassment and defamation," I asserted. Mr. Thompson agreed wholeheartedly. "I believe that's a prudent step, Lauren. Their behavior is intolerable, and they must face the legal consequences." The legal battles were arduous, but I remained steadfast. In court, Mark portrayed himself as the victim, a man unfairly treated by his vengeful ex-wife. Clara, ever the performer, shed tears over being deprived of a role in her nephew's life. However, their theatrics couldn't obscure the truth. The judge saw through their charade and granted the restraining order. Furthermore, they were instructed to compensate for the harm caused by their defamatory actions. Leaving the courtroom, Mark seethed with anger, while Clara's eyes smoldered with unspoken threats. Yet, this time, I refused to be intimidated. The law was on my side. Their defeat in court failed to extinguish their vendetta. If anything, it seemed to stoke their malice further. One day, I received a chilling call from Mark. "You think you've won, Lauren? You think you can ruin my life and walk away? I'll ensure you regret this," he spat over the phone. I gritted my teeth, suppressing the fear his words ignited. "You brought this upon yourself, Mark. I'm merely safeguarding my family." "You haven't seen the end of me, Lauren. This isn't finished," he snarled before disconnecting. His threat lingered in the air like poison, but I refused to let it weaken me. Aaron and Elise were my top priority. They were my world, and I'd do whatever it took to shield them from Mark and Clara's cruelty. However, as days turned into weeks, the constant strain started to wear me down. The perpetual watchfulness, the dread of what Mark might do next, the weight of single motherhood. It consumed me entirely. One evening, as I tucked Elise into bed, Aaron approached me, his expression serious. "Mom, are we going to be okay?" Dad sounded really angry on the phone. I enveloped him in a hug, my heart breaking for the burden he carried. "We'll be okay, Aaron. I won't let anything happen to us, I promise." Yet even as I uttered those words, I knew the battle was far from over. Mark and Clara loomed like a looming storm, and I had to be prepared for whatever they threw our way. The weeks post-court ruling were fraught with tension and vigilance. Mark and Clara, constrained by the restraining order, retreated into the shadows, their silence more unsettling than their threats. I sensed this lull was just the calm before another storm. Then it struck. Clara, in a desperate move, staged a public spectacle. While I was grocery shopping, she emerged out of nowhere, hurling accusations. "You're a monster, Lauren. You've torn our family apart." Clara's cries drew the attention of bystanders. I stood firm, my voice unwavering. "Clara, you need to leave. You're violating the restraining order." Enraged, she spat back. "I don't care. The world needs to see your true colors." But her theatrics backfired. The store manager, recognizing the disruption, called the police. As they escorted a hysterical Clara away, her facade of the wronged aunt crumbled. This public meltdown proved to be the tipping point. The police charged Clara with violating the restraining order and causing a public disturbance. Mark, too, faced repercussions. His involvement in the harassment and defamation, now laid bare, led to his arrest. As I witnessed their apprehension, a twinge of pity stirred within me. They had plummeted into their own abyss, a pit of lies and animosity they had dug themselves. Yet this feeling was swiftly eclipsed by a sense of justice. They were finally being held accountable for their actions. In the aftermath, the community's perception shifted. The truth about Mark and Clara's deceit and manipulation came to light. Those who had once whispered behind my back now extended their apologies and support. Aaron, witnessing his father and aunt's downfall, grappled with conflicting emotions. "Mom, is it wrong to feel relieved about Dad and Aunt Clara getting arrested?" I squeezed his hand, empathizing with his inner turmoil. "It's okay to feel relieved, Aaron. They caused us a lot of pain. It's natural to seek justice." The battle that had consumed us for months appeared to be at an end. Mark and Clara, once formidable adversaries, were now diminished. Their ability to harm us had been stripped away. As I tucked Aaron and Elise into bed that night, a sense of tranquility settled over me. We had weathered the storm and emerged triumphant. Our future lay before us, bright and full of promise. Though life had thrust us into turbulent waters, we had learned to navigate the tempest. Now it was time to relish the calm, to embrace the fresh beginning that awaited us.